Josh, on the other hand, is intense.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a quick example. We were shooting a scene where he had to cut his hand off to get out of some handcuffs. He was chained to something, right? A heater. And he does this, and he's cutting, and he does it, and cut, great, let's move on, right? The directors loved it.
Yeah.
He's like, you think I could do one more take? So he sits and he gets out, and he's, bam, his head hits the floor.
Yeah.
He passed out. He hyperventilated because he was so intense. And the director looks over and he says, that was an interesting choice. And then Ewan McGregor wasn't there. He comes in later and they're telling him about it. He goes, fuck. I act myself unconscious all the time.
And action.
Hello and welcome to CineMAINEia, a podcast that celebrates the state of Maine and its connections to the film and TV industry. I'm Derek Brown. This is my co-host, Mike Pritchard.
Hello.
And Nick Costigan is out today. Today we're recording from Alderaan, a beautiful planet and home to Princess Leia. It's a beautiful sunny day on Alderaan. You can even see the moon. Wait, that's no moon. Today, we're very lucky to be talking to a veteran film and television actor with over 30 years in the industry, with television credits including Grey's Anatomy, The West Wing, SWAT, The Mentalist, Criminal Minds, and Netflix's Ratched, and films including Wind Talkers, American Assassins, and Waterworld. You've no doubt seen this man in action. His new projects include Bountiful, screening at Smitty's in Windham August 13th, and the Maine film Canoe Dig-It, screening around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Davis. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
So I think the best place to start is, what's your connection to Maine?
I was born in Buxton, Maine. Grew up, went to Eagle High School.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm a Mainer but I woke up one day and said something's missing. And I sold everything and I flew to Los Angeles and just started acting.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got out there? How'd you get your foot in the door?
I mean, I had no background, no training for the most part. I mean, I had done one play and then I took one class locally in Portland with an acting coach in there for a little bit. And but there was a girl that I studied with or that I worked with in there that I saw on TV. She had gone back to New York and landed a role on a soap opera. Her name is Laura Bonarigo. She's from Portland. And she was on One Life to Live for years. But when I saw her, I'm thinking, you know what? Something's missing. That's what I want to do. So I sold everything and went up to LA. And when I got there, I didn't really know where to start. So I just started doing some background work and finding a way to get into anything I could. I did a lot of no budget movie, TV show, films and student films and whatever I could just to get experience and to learn the ropes. And I just worked my way up from the ground up.
Awesome.
Yeah. Growing up in Maine in the 60s, 70s, were you aware of any people from Maine that had made gone to Hollywood?
Not really. I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I mean, Judd Nelson had made it big out there and he was from Portland. And
yeah,
I think that was Linda Lavin was from Maine as well, but not really. That it's one of those things that I always grew up thinking that nobody leaves Maine. My dad was up in Norway working at a machine shop, and they had a company picnic on the ocean.
Yeah,
and there were guys that had been here their whole lives, lived in South Paris, Norway, Maine, and had never seen the ocean. I mean, that's how people from Maine, So you don't figure on branching out much.
Yeah,
but. Yeah.
Yeah. So it really was that spark of seeing someone you'd known that kind of clicked with you.
Well, that one, the girl that it was in my, that's what clicked with it. Was not because she was famous, but she went down there and I said, you know what? I could do that. If she can do that, I can do that. And for some reason there was something in me that I think I knew I kind of wanted to do it, but you didn't leave Maine. You didn't take those chances. So when I saw her, that was what gave me the oomph to just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested. I asked this pretty much to everyone who I've known who makes that move. What was that feeling like? That that first time you landed in Los Angeles, and it's pretty much everything is just wide open.
Whole new world.
Well, mine was a little different. I actually, when I left Maine, my dad was living in Arizona at the time, so I flew there and I stayed with him for about a month
Yeah.
and transitioned. And I actually went to a swap meet. I bought a car and a set of golf clubs, and I drove to Los Angeles. And
Yeah.
yeah, so when I got there, I had some distant relatives. I slept on their couch for a couple weeks while I got my feet wet. But yeah, so I mean, the first day there, I pulled up next to a park. There was some guys out there playing basketball. I threw my shorts on and went down and played basketball. I kind of made myself fit right in. It wasn't like someone coming from Buxton, Maine. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't you'd think you'd be overwhelmed. Portland was a big city for us growing up,
Right.
but I don't know, for some reason I was where I belonged, I guess. I don't know. I felt comfortable right from the get-go. So I just dove right in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always imagine it like they show in the movies where someone's just standing and the camera pans around in a circle, and but
Bustling
uh,
city.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I wasn't, I wasn't starstruck I didn't go to Hollywood and just look up at the sign and look at the stars. None of that stuff. I went right to work.
Yeah.
I knew I had to make a living while I was there. So I was looking for a place to live to start with, and
Yeah.
then for a job. I knew those were the two things I had to if I was going to survive, I had to have a place to live. So I found this house for this lady rented a room out of her house. So I found this little room to rent,
Yeah.
and I found a job in a video store out in
Uh,
a little town called Woodland Hills out in the valley, $6 an hour. And but there I met some of the actors that used to come in there to rent videos. This is 1980, 1992-ish, I guess,
oh yeah.
1992.
Yeah.
So videos were prominent, and the
Yeah.
video store, John Stamos used to come in there, Craig Schaefer, um, Lauren Dreyfus, who was Richard Dreyfuss's brother, Christoph
Okay.
St. John, who was a soap actor, and he befriended me, and I learned a lot from him about the business. But yeah, I just that was my welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah. You must have learned a lot about these people's like home lives by the videos that they were like renting. Like, oh, John Stamos. Oh, you must have young children. Oh, now the children must be growing up. He's renting.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun, and they were friendly. They would chit chat when they came in, and Lauren Dreyfus, who was Richard Dreyfus. I mean, he would come in. Hey, you guys got to get this movie. It's called Detective School Dropout. He said, I star in it. He said,
Yeah.
you got to go on. You got to go find it. Get it in the store. So there was things like that. And
Yeah.
kind of like you see. I don't know. There was. It's funny because he looked and sounded just like Richard Dreyfus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he was, yeah. So, and
Was
you
that
see
helpful
that
for
with different
networking?
siblings in it. What's that?
Sorry, was that helpful for networking? Getting to connect with people working at the video store, or not so much yet?
It was, in a sense, not with some of those, but with a couple guys that I met there, and one of them Christoph passed away, but he was the one, Christoph St. John, that he took me, met his acting coach, and him and I we were writing a project together when I first met him and stuff. He was a good connection because it kind of got me. I met this acting coach. His name was Virgil Fry. His daughter was Soleil Moon Fry, who was Punky Brewster. He was an interesting cat, to say the least. But that kind of opened a lot of doors for me. So yeah, the video store led to Christoph, which led to opening some doors. But as far as the acting side of it, it was basically just I bought every backstage
Yeah.
variety, every newspaper and art, and I just started submitting myself to anything and everything. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it, and I had no background, no experience, no training. I just figured that's the way, if you want to work on cars, you take them apart and you do it. If you want to be an
Right.
actor, you do it. And that's
Yeah.
my approach to it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it feels like a, l- a lot of people try to just do it and
Yeah.
they don't end up succeeding. Why do you think what do you think was different for you?
I didn't give myself a time limit.
Yeah.
I didn't say, oh, but 5 years, I got to make it. I didn't put any pressures on myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, it probably would have happened bigger and quicker, but 3 years into it, I got married and had a baby.
Yeah.
So I was a dad trying to raise a family. So I had to make enough money to do that while still pursuing. And luckily, my wife was from there. She knew the business. She grew up with, I mean, her high school was right full of working actors, and
Yeah.
she worked in the studios right in when she was 16, 17, because her friends' parents were producers and stuff. So she knew the business. But by the time I met her, she was completely away from it. So she had
Yeah.
no connections. But so it slowed it down a bit. But I don't know what made it different. Was I just think I gave up everything
Yeah.
to go there, and I wasn't coming home.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I wasn't giving up. And I always tell the story. There was one defining moment. The first year I was there, didn't really know many people. I didn't have any money. I hadn't done much but a few background things. And I went to Johnny Rockets, which is a hamburger place out there. And
Yeah.
I sat down. I had my last $10. I bought a burger and a shake. And I sat there, and even though nothing was really happening, I just realized I belong here. This is where I belong, and I'm going to stay here. I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And that was the turning point. There was no even thinking. I never thought about giving up. I mean, it wasn't even part of, I wasn't looking to be a movie star. I just wanted to do what I do. And luckily enough, I've been able to do it. I mean, I never got that job that pushed me over the top, but I've been close on a lot of them. So,
Sure.
enough to keep you going.
Yeah. So, IMDb claims your first credit is in 1992 on, I assume, direct-to-video called Hell Roller. And is that true? Or, I mean,
that one there, that's the only credit on mine that is not a real credit of mine. I have no idea how that got there. Or I tried to get rid of it. I couldn't get it off it, which is funny.
Yeah.
I think my first actual credit that was a paid acting gig, which they've got it written up differently, was probably Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one was, I was on there. I was doubling Robert Englund, standing in and doubling for him.
Yeah.
And Wes Craven liked me and approached me and gave me a little role in the beginning of the movie, the opening of the movie. So that was my first actual SAG contracted film role.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually, I've never really asked this before. How does SAG work? I understand that you need to be submitted by a couple actors in order to join. Is that how that I could?
No, there's different ways. Some people you can get in by doing background work.
Okay.
If you work on jobs, because they have so many SAG background actors, and then the rest can be non-union.
Okay.
If someone's working with someone and they can get 3 days as a SAG background actor, they're eligible to join SAG.
Okay.
The other way is they Taft-Hartley you, or you book a job that is SAG, a speaking job, and then you become what they call a must join, and you're automatically you pay your dues and you're in. And that's what happened with me. I actually, I'm not sure if it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, or there was a TV series called The League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Which was a spinoff from the movie back then. And I was on that also doing, I just got there. I'd been there my first year, 1992, 93. And the director came to me and asked me to throw a line on that show as well. So that might have actually been my first contract. That might have been so that made me SAG eligible and I could join.
Yeah.
And on my birthday in 1993, I got there in 92. A year later, 1993, and because it was hard to get in Hollywood, I drove to San Diego and joined the San Diego chapter because I could get in right away. So that's when I joined SAG. Yeah.
Interesting. And for folks who don't know, SAG is a union for Screen Actors Guild. What are the benefits? I mean, why is SAG so important to the industry?
Well, just for safety, they push for safety. They push for breaks, union break. They, you get extra perks.
Yeah.
And over the years, I mean, it's made it much better for the working actor. As
Yeah.
far as perks, as far as helping, it can hurt a young actor, which most actors don't. The first thing they hear, they want to become SAG. Oh, I got to get into SAG. But what happens if you join SAG? You're not supposed to do any non-union work, and so when you're just trying to build a resume and learn the ropes, it actually is not a good thing. It can hurt you.
Yeah.
You make a lot more money usually when you're doing SAG work. You get residuals and that type of thing, but it also it's it's good and bad. I mean, it's always good to be part of a union because you got that protection, but they don't really do anything to get you work. That's
Right.
still up to you. So yeah.
I got you. So going back, I guess maybe to a New Nightmare, or even League of Their Own, but was there a point, a role, or just a point in your early career that you really felt like this is working out?
Yeah, I mean, again, not to be like cocky or anything, but I never questioned myself as an
Yeah.
actor. I don't, I didn't. I mean, because I'm not, and I didn't really feel like I fit in. Like going way back to high school theater, I never did theater because there was a kind of a quirky group and I just didn't feel like I fit in. I was more of
Yeah.
an athlete, and,
Sure.
but for some reason, I don't know, probably the first thing I did John Woo, Wind Talkers with John Woo.
Yeah.
And working with him, he's such a esteemed director, and he was the nicest guy. And he, actually, he was doing another scene when I was leaving that day, and he actually took time out to come over and thank me for being there. And it was
Yeah.
just one scene in the movie, but I think that's when I said, okay, this is cool. This is. But anytime you get to work on a set,
Yeah.
like at the studios, that's that too. It just like that's when I did that moment that you talked about early on. The first
Yeah.
time you go to Sony Studios or Warner Brothers Studios and you're on the back lot and you look up and you recognize all these things from different movies and stuff. That is my happy place. I love to be on any of the studios and on the back lots, and that's
Yeah. Very cool. And actually, that kind of leads me to a question I was going to ask: is can you kind of describe the variety of sets that you run into as a working actor?
Well, I mean, a lot of the lower budget films were just working in actual locations.
Yeah.
Whether it be you go into an actual bar or restaurant, they actually rent it out for the day. But when you're working on a soap opera, TV series, or a big feature film, they build some incredible sets inside of sound stages. I mean, even
Yeah.
the exteriors sometimes are some of these sound stages are just enormous. And it's that part of it. I mean, I remember I didn't work on the film, but I was on the lot when they were doing one of the first big Batman movies.
Yeah.
And someone took me over into the stage where they had built Gotham City.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was this huge building, and they had everything in there. So, it's when you can walk, it takes you into that. It builds a
Into that
reality.
world.
I don't know. It's just something about
Walking into
being
that
surrounded
universe.
by, yeah.
Yeah.
And and so I'm trying to think of other shows that I've worked on. I did a series called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which was a kids show that I started. And even that one, we went to this little stage. It wasn't a big studio, but they had these stages out in Santa Clarita, and the sets, the apartment set, here is the office, and you walk through a door, and there's your apartment, and they're worlds apart in the show, but on the stage. So anytime you went on to one of those shows, I worked on when I went on to The Mentalist, same thing.
Yeah.
You're in this FBI setup where all the tables are there, and you get the glass walls around. I mean, if you saw what they build out there. Okay, another one. I did a TV show called now I'm not Station 19. Anyway, it was a medical show. Oh, Code Black.
Okay.
Black. They went down to East LA or someplace to this old hospital and took pictures. They built this set,
Yeah.
and people that worked there that said they grew up there said they when they walked in there, it was like they couldn't
Yeah.
estimate the difference between the original and what they built. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's overwhelming. It's really cool. I mean, that's what makes, I don't know, it makes it all work. You know, it's just
Yeah.
as an actor, for me anyway. I mean, other actors. I mean, I still like going on any movie set. I mean, we work in someone's house or we work outside, whatever. But
Yeah.
there's just something to be said about going onto a set, and just you're playing again. You know, it's like being a kid. You walk in there and everything's there.
Yeah.
If that
Very
makes
cool.
sense, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of the TV shows. I was wondering what it's like, or the difficulties of guest guest starring one episode in an established show with an established cast, and
Right.
what that's kind of like.
I mean, that's basically what my whole career was.
Yeah.
Most of the shows I did, and most everybody was very welcoming. I mean, and
Yeah.
some of them would surprise you. Some of the ones that were the biggest actors that you worked with were the ones that were the most. I mean, I worked for like 5 days on a show with Tim Daly. I don't know if you know who Tim Daly is. He
Yeah.
used to be on a show called Wings years ago, but then
Yep.
it was a spinoff from Grey's Anatomy called Private Practice, and he sat with me and the lady playing my wife, and we were just guest stars for the week. He sat with us every day and had lunch. And
Yeah.
here's a guy who he was a child that he grew up in the business,
Yeah.
but yet he sat there with us and he talked to us like I'm talking to you. He really wanted to know,
Yeah.
you know, and that impressed me big time. I mean, it's a guy that because and another one was I did Criminal Minds, and Joe Montagna.
Yeah.
Another one, movie actor, TV. You know, we did a table read that before we started shooting. When he walked in, he came around, introduced himself to every guest star there,
Yeah.
and so I mean, that's welcoming. It makes you feel comfortable and makes you. I've worked on other ones where you had a little bit more trouble
Yeah.
establishing anything.
Yeah.
When a lot of times, because the actors themselves, a lot of them are very insecure themselves, even though that's what they do for a living. So they don't. It takes them a while to open up, I think. But
Yeah.
for the most
Sure.
part, it was always a good experience. But I mean, they're pretty welcoming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you the toughest thing to answer that another part of that question is I've done soap operas,
Yeah.
and those guys play the same character for years. So and they're doing almost a feature film every day on a 1 hour soap is 60 pages a day they're doing.
Yeah.
And regularly and a film you're doing 3 to 9 pages a day.
Yeah.
TV show sometimes it's a couple of pages per scene. So to go in there when they're so established, that is you have a new respect for what they do. I mean, I used to think, oh, soap acting, you walk into a soap opera and you realize how much they've got to do.
Right.
And you got to jump in and do it. I think I was more nervous doing the soaps than I was working with the big actors on movies.
Yeah, because it's a different type of acting. Like you said, there's so much to remember.
Oh, and they don't really want to do a second take. If they can get
Yeah.
it close, if it's close, we'll go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When you watch back in some of your own work,
Yeah.
do you view it as your character, or when you're watching, does that kind of remove some of the magic? You're like, oh, I'm just watching myself.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not the type of actor who becomes a character as far as in my own head.
Sure.
I just kind of turn it on and off. So I watch it as me, and I go back and look at stuff, and I say, and I do critique myself. I mean, there's some things that make me cringe. There are times when you get caught acting, and I can see myself acting and not just being, and that kind of, so yeah, and I as far as getting so deep into a character that I'm not that kind of a method actor. I'm a guy who I'm a blue collar guy who just likes to play.
Yeah.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Present. Yep.
Yeah.
I was wondering, as someone who's been there, how has the industry changed over the last 30 years?
Ah, the biggest change happened during COVID,
Yeah.
which really is, it wouldn't be the business as much as it was during COVID. It was tough to do jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I did a job at Disney Studios, and I think I had 3 COVID tests before I even walked on set.
Yeah.
But what really changed was the audition process, which is
Yeah.
getting to something we'll probably talk about later. That's what got me to able to come back to Maine.
Okay.
During COVID, they didn't do any in person, so we started doing kind of like I'm doing right now with you. I put up a
Yeah.
camera, I do my audition, and I would send it to them.
Yeah.
If you got a call back for producers, you would go on a Zoom call, and kind of like we're doing here, they would, hi, how are you? And you do your audition. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Well, what happened was the casting directors realized I don't have to have a studio. I don't have to hire people to read. I don't have to hire a cameraman.
Yeah.
So now, even once COVID was over and they stopped doing in-persons because they let us do all the work.
Yeah.
So
Right.
now, but that being said, I didn't have to be in Los Angeles anymore.
Yeah.
I can be anywhere in the world and do my auditions. So what an opportunity to sell my house in Los Angeles and come back to Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something, moving back is something that a goal that you had? Or,
I hadn't, I'll tell you what, I mean, I came back once or twice a year. My kids were here at least twice a year growing up.
yeah.
Because it is home. I come back once in the summer and once in the winter every year. But as far as the goal of coming back, my wife was from LA and all her family was there. So I never would have, I never would have said, hey, I want you to move to Maine.
Right.
I was lucky enough that we had an opportunity back here, and she said, why don't we do it?
Yeah.
And so I didn't have, so I never was really even thinking about coming home until she even before that, she had started saying, we should look for a piece of property in Maine. We should look, so
Yeah.
that made it feasible to come home.
Yeah.
I knew that she was okay with it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't want to be the guy that dragged her back here and then had her be miserable, and we had to figure out a way to get back,
Right. Yeah.
It's
That makes sense.
it's tough going. It's tough going. It's a lot easier coming this way than going that way, especially when you're established money wise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive back here now, but it's 3 times as expensive to buy a house back there as it is here.
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had an average home right now in Los Angeles, and even in the Valley, and not in the best areas or anything, is over $1 million. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's for an average home.
Um. So, like, after all this time, is there still like a role that you're looking to play, like either a genre or a type of person that you're still trying to get at?
Well, I missed. I always. I mean, I wanted to play like a football player or something,
Yeah.
or a boxer, but now I've kind of aged out of those roles. So the Western genre
Yeah.
was always something I wanted. And finally, in the last 5 years, I just did my second Western, and I did a short film that was a Western. So I finally getting to do some Western stuff, which is fun.
Right.
I'd like to play an action hero, which I think that's coming.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, a young guy that I knew from Los Angeles that I worked with on a TV series. He's putting together a project right now on his own, and with all the new, it looks like it could happen. I'm hoping it does, and I'll be playing a superhero, so that would be cool.
Oh, very cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, so that I still wouldn't mind playing a retired boxer who goes to
Right.
prison and starts fighting his way out or something. It's something.
Yeah,
It would
yeah,
be
yeah.
fun to play something like that. I mean, but we take what we get.
Right. Right.
It's
Well,
all good. I've had fun, and I have had a chance to play a lot. Luckily, my look is not. I mean, I've played across the gamut as far as I've FBI agents and cops and lawyers, but then I played criminals and such. So And now the westerns is this new one I got coming out was so much fun. I mean, it was something that I had pretty much one of those things that from the time I started acting, it was the type of role I always wanted, and I actually finally got it. So
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, and that is the one I mentioned again. That's Bountiful. Is what you're talking
Bountiful.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What led you? What led you to get onto that project?
I'll tell you, it's going to seem kind of strange, but actually, um, the director was putting something out about it on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I reached out to him and I said, "Look, I said, I really would love to be a part of your project."
Yeah.
And so he looked at my resume and said, "Well, okay." And he had a role that he had written. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's an old time Hollywood. He's a cinematographer who
Okay.
also directs films. So he works as a cinematographer to make money to direct his own films. And so he had written this film. He'd been working on it for, I think he said 20 years.
Yeah.
And this friend of his, I draw a blank on the actor's name. But he had written it for this buddy of his who was a character actor from 70s, 80s, whatever.
Yeah.
And he passed away. So when I reached out to him, he's like, "I've got a role that I think you'd be perfect for."
Yeah.
And he had me do it. He had me do a little read, and from that day on, I was attached to his project, and it's his passion project. So it was him and me. So that was pretty cool, and
Yeah.
watching it come to fruition, and going out to Mezcal Movie Ranch in Tucson, Arizona, where they shot Tombstone and
Yeah.
the Fast, with the Quick and the Dead,
Yeah.
all these great westerns, to work there, and
Yeah.
talking about walking onto a set and feeling. I mean, so that's what it led to, but that's how it came about.
Yeah. Very cool. I think because I had seen this on IMDb, I think the actor you were trying to remember is Frederick Forrest. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. Did he mention that in something?
On IMDb, if a person were to look up the movie Bountiful, at the bottom in the trivia section, it says that Frederick Forrest was first slated to play Captain Yancey
There you go.
when
Yeah.
when the movie was first going to be in 2007, like you were
Right.
saying, it a long time. So,
Yeah.
and that his Frederick's work kind of helped to contribute to the character itself, um, either in the writing or something.
Right,
Like that.
absolutely, and that's so that made me feel good to step into his role, and the director who had, like I said, written it for him. He loved everything I did,
Yeah.
and so that I finally felt validated
Fulfilled.
as an actor in this film. I think more than anything I've ever done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That movie also, just because I scrolled back up in IMDb, has Eric Roberts. Do you
Yeah.
have scenes with Eric?
I
Do you
do.
work?
Yeah.
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 I,
Yeah.
I,
And Eric was
yeah.
he
I enjoy
he was fun to
Eric.
work with. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the thing is he was such a talented actor. I mean, early on, Star 80. I don't know if you ever heard of Star 80.
I
If you
have
haven't seen
not.
it,
Yeah.
it's about what was it? Dorothy, the Playboy model that her boyfriend takes over her career and ends up killing her, and he's the boyfriend. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the most intense TV movie you'll ever watch.
Okay.
That was one of his early projects. But
Yeah.
anyway, so you've seen his work over the years, all the
Yeah.
stuff he's done. Now he does every couple of days. He's flying from one set to another. He's doing like 70 films a year.
Yeah.
I was talking to him and I asked him about a film. He's like, he didn't even remember the names of the films. He's like, I know, I just show up, he said. But he's good. He was on and he did his work, and then he
Yeah.
moves on to the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely interesting.
Yeah. It's funny. Are there any? You talked about an early friendship that you had made. Are there friendships that you've made that endure today
From
from any of
there's
them?
a yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I think the problem being, I met Christoph before I got married and had kids, so that was
Yeah.
the early. And then when the last time I saw him, I actually went on to his soap as a guest character one day and happened to run into him. And
Yeah.
then about a year later, he passed away, which was sad. He committed suicide. His son had committed suicide a year before, and he just never really dealt with it, I think.
Yeah.
Such a good guy, but other than that, not really. I mean, I have
Yeah.
some directors and some people. I mean, like I said, I got this
Sure.
possible movie coming out with an actor that I worked with
Yeah.
on a series years ago, and I got another director that every once in a while reaches out and says, "Hey, can you shoot this with me? You can do this."
Yeah.
But actor wise or big name wise, not really. I mean, there's some that I would like to reconnect with because
Sure.
early on, I worked with Josh Brolin early on, and I remember,
Ah.
he was I wish I'd kept in touch with him and Ewan McGregor. I did a film with those two,
Yeah.
and there's, you talk about different types of acting. Ewan's
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah.
He just does it, and
Yeah.
he'll be laughing and joking. Then he's doing the serious scene. Then 2 seconds later, he's right back out of it. Josh, on the other hand, is intense.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a quick example. We were shooting a scene where he had to cut his hand off to get out of some handcuffs. He was chained to something, right? A heater. And he does this, and he's cutting, and he does it, and cut. Great. Let's move on, right? The directors loved it.
Yeah.
He's like, you think I can do one more take? So he sits and he gets it, and he's, his head hits the floor. He
Yeah.
passed out. He hyperventilated because he was so intense. And the director looks over and he says, that was an interesting choice. And then Ewan McGregor wasn't there. He comes in later and they're telling him about it. He goes, fuck, I act myself unconscious all the time.
Yeah.
So, but that was just two completely different actors. And Josh this was before he really took off. I mean,
Yeah.
he'd been in the business. Of course, his dad's an actor, so he'd been in. But he
Yeah.
he would come to me. I was a stand-in for Ewan. I was early on in my career, and Josh would come over and say, "What do you think of this? Did I do?" I'm like, "Josh, dude, it looked great." Just But
Right,
he was
it's like-
so just
like,
and
You were in
it
the
paid off. I
Goonies,
mean,
it's like, yeah. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. um, excuse me. So, you've actually kind of recently also taken another type of role, and that's of producer. What kind of made you want to take that on?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, I did I did produce a film called Demons Within, which
Sure.
I was going to direct it originally. A girl approached me with a script, and I
Yeah.
liked it, and I thought
Yeah.
it'd be a good low budget. I'm not really into horror films.
Yeah.
But Roberta Griffin was her name, and I really thought it was a really well written script. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put this together myself. Well, I got to the point where I started lining up casts and stuff, and the money just didn't come in the way I hoped it would.
Sure.
So I got some money together, and I found someone in Ohio, which I had met. I did an autograph signing in Ohio at this horror con thing.
Yeah.
And these people that I met there that were part of the show had always said, "Would you ever come here to do a film?" So I said, "Okay, I got this horror film. There's a director there, and this kid that would help produce it." I said, how would you guys like if I brought the film there and we shot it there? You direct it, you put it together, help me with it. And we did it
Yeah.
on a really ultra low budget, but we could do it there where I couldn't do it on that low budget in Hollywood at the time. So, but anyway, so the reason I got into producing is just that I thought I told her early on I'd like to make the movie, Roberta, and then I didn't want to renege on that, so
Sure.
I made it happen.
Yeah.
I don't really plan on doing much of it again. I mean,
Okay.
I might produce my own short. I'm trying to put together one for me.
Yeah.
That's something that we can shoot here in Maine, and that I want to get it into the festivals and try to get it Oscar nominated. That's my goal. But yeah, producing, it's not for me.
Yeah, but you did mention directing. Is that something you're still interested in?
Not really.
No?
Even that I just wanted to because I wanted to make it. I wanted to do it what
Yeah.
I saw her script becoming.
Yeah.
And I thought I could do it justice. Not because I thought I was a great director. I just had a vision that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. When I did
Yeah.
turn it over to someone else, I was
Yeah.
not happy with I mean,
Sure.
it could have been a lot better, and you know, and I would talk about it a lot more. But I
Yeah.
was kind of like, ugh, it's one of the worst projects I've ever worked on. Say nothing but produce.
Okay.
That's awful to
Yeah.
say, but it's not. I mean, it was what it was. We got some
Yeah.
people involved, and we did a little. I think I would like to have had some control over re-editing and doing a soundtrack that people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of people who do low budget films don't realize how important the edit is and how important the soundtrack is, especially in just fixing sound in general. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're outdoors and you can hear muff sound, you know, it's just, to me as an actor watching myself, it's really important to have good sound, to
Yeah.
have good music that pushes moments. You know,
Yeah, the music
a
is
score. So,
often overlooked, and it's
yeah,
often the thing that either you remember or it pushes. I mean, what would Jaws be without, 2 notes?
absolutely, that's true. I mean, it makes or breaks a film. It really does. I mean, there's other films that I guarantee, if someone took it, all the footage they have, sent
Yeah.
it to someone and said, "Look, redo the score, maybe tighten things up a little bit edit wise," and it's a different movie, you know, without even shooting another scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. I I had personally just another question. So you and I became connected through a movie shot here in Maine called Canoe Dig It, and I was also, just like with Bountiful, I was wondering how you got connected with Sam and got working on that
Yeah.
project.
Well, with Sam, there's a thing called Actors Access and the Breakdown Services, which is what casting directors use to find actors.
Okay.
And usually your agent goes through that and submits you usually. But as an actor, we get access to some of it.
Okay.
And so I saw that one. I submitted myself. I self-submitted through the casting director, went through
Yeah.
the audition process, and that's how I met. And I, especially when I saw that it was shooting in Maine, I had only been back in Maine for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know New England as an actor. I never acted here. I woke up one day
Yeah.
and flew to LA. So it was a good way to get back into, get down on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I submitted and he liked what I did and I booked it, and it was great. I mean, it was fun. It's something different too. I'd never done a mockumentary where you're actually playing it to the camera, and
Yeah.
it was fun. I don't, and I never really. I always, when I left Maine, I thought I was going to be the next Robin Williams. Or,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the funny guy. I got to California and I've done almost zero comedy work. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of get into one thing and that's what everyone sees you. So to play a character in that was, it's a humorous movie.
Yeah.
You weren't playing it comedically, but it come across comedically because of the way the situations.
Right.
Yeah. But it was fun,
Yeah.
and he did it. You got to see it. I mean, and anyone out there listening, if you get a chance to see Canoe Dig It, go
Yeah.
see it. It's really, it's a quick watch. It's not very long. The characters, there's some great quirky characters.
Yeah.
And watch what Hal does. I mean, my character is Hal. He's the
Okay.
fun
Yeah.
old guy, the old guy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they say, I mean, when you're describing how, the character and making it funny, even though you're not, I'm reminded of like the movie Airplane. That's exactly what the director told them to do. They're all playing the movie straight, and that's what makes it funny.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. Yeah. David Zucker, the Zucker brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually worked with them on a project that you won't see it anywhere. But when I first went to LA, they were doing it was like a PSA right after the riots
Yeah.
about people getting along and stuff. And I had a scene with Bob Saget and what's her name? The mother from the Brady Bunch. No, the mother from, was it her? Yeah, Florence Henderson.
Florence, yeah.
And she's a patient on a gurney. I was the what do you call it? The
EMT?
guy in the hospital was pushing the
Okay,
gurney.
yeah.
And Bob Saget was the doctor.
Yeah.
And that typical type of humor that they had. So he comes in and he's supposed to be all scrubbed up. He's getting ready to go on an operation. And I can't remember what the whole premise was, but he's got his hands in his hair, and then he pulls out like these weird, like I can't remember if it was a blowtorch or a chainsaw,
Yeah.
some stupid, it was just really out there. But that was the first time I actually worked with like, some big actors, that
Yeah.
I watched growing up and stuff, and a big director. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I actually ran into him at a party years later, and I mentioned it to him, and he remembered. I told you were one of the first people I worked with, and but yeah, crazy.
So yeah, I'm wondering now. What when you're not acting, what do you do to unwind?
I have a farm in Standish with
Yeah.
a bunch of acreage, a bunch of property. So I'm out constantly. I don't have any animals. Only because my wife and she still has family in LA, so we need to travel, and it's hard to find someone to take care of
Yeah.
animals. So, but we do have a lot of property, and I have fields that I have to mow and trees that I trim to keep the wood lines. I'm always cutting trees and rebuilding stone walls that have
Yeah.
disappeared over the years. So, yeah, and we're doing some remodeling right now. And for the 30 years that I was in LA, I worked as a handyman to survive between acting jobs. Growing up in Maine, I worked as an electrician. My dad was a carpenter. So when I got to LA, that was a perfect way to work for myself. So I did
Yeah.
handyman work to a lot of actors and producers and stuff. So I was the go-to guy. So that now I'm doing some remodeling at my house, so I'm getting to do some of that. So yeah, that's how I unwind. Is just I stay busy. I don't. There's no no moss growing under my feet.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think you and Mike are kindred in that way. It's hard to pin Mike down for one of these episodes because he's out in the woods. He's doing it. He's
I
doing
stay
it every
busy.
day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny. I grew up. My stepdad did whatever it took to make money. So we were shingling roofs at the lake, or we were cutting and splitting wood to sell. I mean, we did. I grew up doing a little bit of everything. So now I get to
Yeah.
do it for enjoyment, which is kind of strange. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I have one last question, which is the last question I always ask, and that's Jeff. What is your favorite movie?
To watch or that I've
Yeah.
worked in.
To watch. To watch.
I mean, I just enjoy
Yeah.
watching films in general.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is probably Unforgiven, Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
that'd probably be my go-to. I think, yeah.
Nice.
The characters in that were just so, just Gene Hackman was just incredible.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman and Clint. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen the entirety of that movie, but I've seen quite a bit.
It's kind of dark. But it's really, it seems
Yeah.
a lot of modern westerns, like the Quentin Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino, but the western
Yeah.
stuff he does, it's got too much modern language.
Yeah. Right.
When they start dropping F bombs and calling
Yeah.
every female a BIT,
Yeah.
it takes me out of the period. I don't think that's the way they spoke back then. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me it doesn't feel like they did.
It is odd. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, I really liked Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight, but
Yeah.
and I enjoyed Django Unchained even, but it's to me it's not the same as a western like Unforgiven
Sure.
or Tombstone. Tombstone was another good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Tombstone is great. I mean, Val Kilmer in that is another level.
And I don't understand to this day why he was not nominated for an Academy Award and why he did not get an Academy. That was one of the best performances, and he stayed in character. I mean, with the exception of Forrest Gump, I don't think I've ever seen anyone stay in character any better than he did with that.
Yeah.
I think Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump also was dead on. He never left that character. But Val was amazing.
Yeah.
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 And do you have a favorite project that you've worked on?
Um, Probably. I mean, I think Bountiful right now, just because of everything I got to do as an actor and I mean, I got to ride. I got to ride a buckboard. I got to shoot. I got to be shot. It was that. I think even though it's my most recent film, well, one of my most recent, and but I think all the experience was just something that you dream about. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably to this day. Other than that, before that, um, I did an episode of Criminal Minds that, as an actor, I think was my best performance ever. I played a grieving husband whose wife is killed, and that one, looking back at that, that was one of my favorite acting
Yeah.
jobs as an actor, and what I thought I pulled off. And I wish get the opportunity to do more of that. A lot of the stuff you get to do, especially as a guest actor, they don't want you to steal the show. They want you to come in and help keep it flowing.
Right.
So a lot of times it's kind of boom, you just do your thing but that one I really got to emote and work, and I felt good about it. So yeah. Oh, another movie I got to. We were talking about coming back to the East Coast. I got an
Yeah.
agent in Boston, so I'm doing some work in Boston and stuff. And another movie that I did, I got a small part in it, just a one scene, but Cotton Fever, which is it just won Tribeca. So I'm kind of excited about that for his little film. It's just a little independent
Yeah.
film they shot in Massachusetts, and it just won Best Narrative at Tribeca. So that could be
Wow.
going someplace.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, Jeff, is there anything that you would like to plug?
yeah, Bountiful. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're in Southern Maine, right now it looks. I mean, they're doing some screenings in Arizona and some other states, and coming up to Connecticut. But I got the director to come here. We're doing it like a premiere. He's going
Yeah.
to do a question. Him and I are going to do a Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
Right now, it's only going to be August 13th at Windham Smitty's
Yep.
at 7 p.m. But I think we'll sell out before it. They put it in one of their smaller theaters.
Okay.
And I know when we did Canoe Dig It, that was an added one. I actually asked Sam to do that one in Windham because I wanted people around me
Yeah.
to be able to go, and we filled the theater.
Yeah.
And that was that was over 100-seat theater. There was so I'm going to talk to the director and have him see if talk to the theater and see if we can't get a second showing if it does sell out, because I want everyone to have a chance to see it.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
it's a fun. I mean, I haven't seen the finished movie yet. Just the trailer.
Yeah.
But everything looks good. And what we shot, I felt good about everything. So I think it's going to come together and be a fun little watch. I mean, it's a clean family movie. It's got a little bit of this, a little bit of it's got shooting, it's got Indians, it's got cowboys, it's got bad guys, it's got good guys. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Very cool. Where do you want people to follow you, or?
You can follow me on Facebook, just JF Davis Actor. Instagram, jfdavisactor.com. I mean, JF Davis Actor. That's why I just kind of kept it simple. It's a JF Davis Actor everywhere. So, yeah, give me a follow and say hi. And I'm pretty good about trying to keep in touch with everybody as much as I can. I try to, if someone asks me a question, I try to respond. I'm not one of these guys that close it off. I gotta be happy that someone's interested. So
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Mike, anything else for this guy before we let him go?
No more questions. I just want to say thanks again for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun. Sorry I talk so much, but
Oh, no problem. That's what you're here for.
We don't want we don't want to hear ourselves talk, so
no,
neither do
I get it. I guess I love what I do, and I get excited when I get to talk about it, I guess. So, and I like I said, not being a movie star or anything, but yet being in the business for as long as I have, I've had a lot of great experiences. I've worked with a lot of,
Yeah.
interesting people that you've never heard of, as well as people that you have heard of, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode of CineMAINEia. Support the podcast by rating us 5 stars, leaving a review, and referring us to a friend. Contact the show at mainefilmpod@gmail.com and find us at CineMAINEia on Instagram. Visit our website, CineMAINEia.com. At CineMAINEia.com, you can find links to our merch store on TeePublic, 25% of the proceeds from merch sold are donated to the Dempsey Center, a cancer center in Lewiston, Maine, founded by actor and Maine native Patrick Dempsey. We really appreciate your support. For myself and Mike Wild West Pritchard, I'm Derek Brown. See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
CineMAINEia is hosted and produced by Derek Brown, Mike Pritchard, and Nick Costigan. Editing and sound design by Bud and Bird Media. Email us at mainefilmpod@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at CineMAINEia.
All right. Well, see you later.